I can tell you what the problem with this right here is. The problem with this is I have too many projects going on right now. You know what I need? One more project. Let's roll the intro. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So, I've got like 20 projects going on right now. And I say 20, I'm probably underestimating that total number. So what I decided I needed was another project, another console to build, because I don't have enough going on. So for those of you guys that don't know, building / restoring one of these consoles of any kind, or building a project, is never a, well, at least for me it's not. Some guys, I don't know, it seems like on their YouTube channels or whatever that it's just, they're perfect, right? They have everything they need and blah, blah, blah. I never do. I don't know how they pull it off. I really don't. What I do know is that every time I try to start a project, I'm missing 500 different parts here, there, everywhere, and I can't ever get, it's a thing, man. And so I end up starting a project, and then I had to put the pieces over here, order all the parts that I need, wait for them to come in, and then in the meantime, I've got 5 more other projects going on. And before you know it, my workspace looked like it did just a minute ago. But today what we have is a Game Boy. Now, this is what I'm going to say about this Game Boy. The seller on eBay stated it works. Got some lines here or there, and if you look at the inside, I mean, surprisingly enough, the contacts, there's a little bit of corrosion here. So I am going to just brush that off slightly, but it's not, it ain't bad. I haven't worked on many Game Boys. I haven't worked on any on this channel that I know of, but I haven't really worked on a whole lot of them anyway. I didn't have one as a kid. I played one a little bit. I don't know a whole lot about them. I did buy one specifically to do on this channel not too long ago, and got it, and it was full to the brim with battery corrosion, and didn't work and all the rest of it. So I kind of got disenfranchised by it and decided, screw that thing, and put it down. The board was terrible. I'll break it out in a minute and show you a little bit later on. But I did want to do one, because, I don't know, it's a Game Boy, man, right? So the seller said, you know, we had some lines or whatever else, but he did show a picture of it actually working. But when I put brand new batteries in it, it doesn't seem to work. I'm going to put this, he was holding the seller was holding the rubber band on here to hold the game in. These batteries all literally just came off the charger. So maybe I'm stupid and put them in wrong. Maybe. Let's try to follow the directions again. Nothing's happening. Okay. This was the one terminal that had some corrosion on it, so let me try to just... Simplest fixes first. Okay, so I got battery power light. Oh, I got a sound. Oh, there we go. I got line. I got this screen. Yeah, so it's definitely got some bars on the screen. Nothing too terrible, though. Okay. So it works, but the whole screen doesn't show up. Something is amiss with this. Not to worry. Classic console repairs to the rescue. We'll get him tuned right up in no time. Hopefully. He may need a new screen. So I'm in a bit of a debate, to be bluntly, perfectly honest, about this thing anyway. Because I don't know whether to just restore it, or to mod it and put a what's the name of the screen? The Rips V3 in it, or V4. I think they're up to V4 on Rips now, or maybe one of the other brands' screens. I don't know. I haven't decided whether to do like a full-on mod and whatnot. I guess I should decide that at some point. So interestingly, I can tell you this thing has been apart, and the way that I guess I can tell you that it's been apart. I don't actually know, but I know that this is a silver screw, that's a gold screw, and all the rest of them are gold screws. So I guess we'll take it apart. See, they're all tri-wings. I know that the very earliest of Game Boys came with Phillips screws, not tri-wings. So it'd be interesting to find out, I guess, you know, what's inside of this. Like I said, I feel pretty confident that this thing, well, that one's a silver screw. I feel pretty confident somebody's been inside of this. That's a gold screw. There's 2 golds, there's 2 silvers. If I had to wager, I'd say both of the silver screws should go here. Being nickel plated, they would be better for battery corrosion versus standard zinc plated screws. Yeah, that's where they went. But that tells me right off the bat, like I said a minute ago, somebody has definitely been into this console before. Not the end of the world. No biggie. The board looks like it's in pretty good shape. When I say it looks like it's in pretty good shape, like I'm actually stunned. Yeah, there's fingerprints. Not a huge deal at all. That's very interesting. Those caps are no-name brand. I'll bet you those caps have been replaced. Let's do a little bit more. That's a Phillips screw. That won't work. Let's do a little bit more diving. I'll tell you what, right off the bat. Let's take this side out with the speaker. Golly, there's a lot of screws in this. Now again, these caps all look, I mean, I'll say this, man. Of all the consoles of all the vintage consoles I've ever opened up, this thing is immaculate. And I can tell you that this board hasn't been cleaned because I can still see the flux, the factory flux on these parts over here. It's still there, so I know it hasn't been cleaned. I don't know if these caps have been replaced. I don't know. If they haven't been, theoretically, I guess, you know, maybe they should be. As I, you know, tongue in cheek. I got a little. There's a little bit of. There's a little hint of board rot right here, and I'm curious about where that came from. You know what we need for this? We need the wow stick. That's what we need. It's been sitting over there. I bought it when my last electric screwdriver died, and it's been sitting there ever since. And I haven't bothered to even use it. So we'll see how the wow stick does on this one. Now it could be that this thing just needs a capacitor replacement, is what it could be. And then all will be right with the screen. You'd be surprised how often screen problems are resolved with just a, am I missing a screw? Oh no, there's these little pry tabs. That's right, I remember now. See, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've messed with a GameCube or Game Boy. Ugh. Boy, I tell you what. Uh-oh. I said that. I don't think that actually does have to let go. There we go. Yeah, it just pops right up. Those little plastic tabs, I was going to say, I thought they just held the screen in place, and sure enough they did. There we go. Okay. Yeah, even the bottom of this, well, I say the bottom, I mean, there's a lot of flux here. There's a lot of flux. But the screen, the speaker looks amazing. The screen looks really good. I'm not going to desolder this. We might give it a light cleaning. And I say that, we're going to clean this for sure, this screen for sure. I'm not even going to bivert mod it. I'm going to have to do a little bit of study on these capacitors. I know I'm not going to have this one or this one. They're 100, well, no, that's, I don't know what that is. 10 volt 100 UF. I know I'm not going to have anything that small to fit in that hole, but the hole's a little bit bigger than it needs to be. I might have something that'll fit down in there. I might. Let's take a look at that. So, we definitely need to put some isopropyl on the screen. I need to look into the capacitors. I need to learn, I need to see what I've got that might fit those. Those are some of those, they're super small size. You wouldn't, unless you did this a lot, and if I'm going to rip V3 it, uh-oh, that was bad. If I'm going to put like a RIPS V3 or something in it, then I believe that those all go away anyway, because the whole top screen, all of that is screen anyway, so it doesn't even need to exist anymore. Now this side we might clean, and I say might, we probably 99.9% will clean this. I'll tell you what, it never fails. There we go. Out of there. Look, even this, even the game cartridge cover is beautiful. This is a really beautiful board. This thing has been well cared for, which is excellent news for us. I believe these are probably the factory capacitors. I believe they are. 100 UF 10 volts. Those are just absolutely microscopic. I tell you what, give me a second. That's a 25 UF 33 microfarad. This is 100 6.3, and this is 100 6.3. Okay. So I tell you what, let me give me a second. Let me go take a look and see what I have, and we'll go from there. We're definitely going to clean this board up, the main processor board. We're going to clean it for sure. We're going to clean the cartridge connector on it. We're probably going to do some cleaning on our cartridge, and then if I've got capacitors for this, we're definitely going to swap those out. But how much further we go, I'm not sure yet. None of these capacitors have leaked yet, which is all good news for us, I suppose. Let me go see what I got. Okay, so I think I got something that'll work. I was digging around and looking around at all the different capacitors we got everywhere, and I thought, well, maybe I can do these little aluminum electrolytics SMD mount. And that could have worked on this board here. This one would have been a real challenge, and then the other board, I had no chance here or here. But what I happened to find at some point, I guess I bought these. They're 100 UF 25 volts, and these are 100 UF 10, so we're in a win-win situation. So I'll tell you what. Let's fire up some gear. Let me clear. I'm going to need a bunch of these. I say a bunch of them. I'm going to need some of these. Let's fire this up. And I guess let's switch some of these out. First thing I want to do before I go getting carried away is I do want to clean the bottom of this board up a little bit. I'm not gonna go nuts, but I do just want to clean it up a little bit. Just clean it up. I mean, it's in pretty, like I said, I'm shocked at how clean this thing was to begin with. So it's not like it needs a whole lot. All I'm doing is just using some no clean flux remover. Just giving them a quick scrub. We'll flip them over. And this side, I think we'll just use isopropyl because I don't see any flux build up anywhere on this side of the board. And then we'll decide after we build this thing out, we'll decide what we want to do with it. All right. Whether we want to leave it kind of completely stock, or maybe we want to do the RIPS V3 or V4 or whichever model number they're on now, or I think it's Funny House or whatever it is, Funny Plane maybe. I think it's Funny Plane. We'll do their kit. I'm definitely not going to leave. I'm either going to leave it 100% stock, and we'll reattach the screen. That's no big deal at all. I'm either going to leave it 100% stock, or we're going to just mod it from top to bottom. New case and the whole 9 yards. But I'm not sure. This is in such good shape. Here's the conundrum I always find myself in, right? When I get an old console that's just absolutely been beat within an inch of its life, and it's filthy, and it's nasty, and it's destroyed in every way possible, I'm always kind of a little bit split on what to do. You know, once I have less of a problem just restoring those and going from there. You know, I have less of a problem just modding those than I do one that's this clean and immaculate inside. For some reason, when it gets to these ones that are in this condition, I just have a hard time like deciding to mod it. I always just want to leave them as stock as possible because I feel like that, you know, they've survived this long. You know, let's preserve that. And so that's usually the ones I end up leaving alone are usually the ones, like I said, that you know, I find just in immaculate, great condition, and I don't want to. I don't want to disturb that. I don't want to destroy that. One that's just beat up within an inch of its life, I don't. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I'm not concerned about preserving, but it's already beat up. And so I guess if we're going to preserve anything, we should preserve the boards that are in the best condition. I guess is maybe the way I feel about it. Okay, let's start with this guy right here. I can tell you already I've made a critical error. I should have cleaned my desoldering gun up before I got started with this, but I didn't. So, you know, whatever. This one right here just doesn't want to desolder. That's okay. What we'll do is we'll run some fresh solder on it. And probably, if this doesn't get it to come free the way I want it to, then we will probably I'll probably have to take a break for a minute and clean my desoldering gun. I used it the other day and it didn't want anything to do with desoldering anything. Okay, that was a good pull. Okay. There we go. Alright. I guess at some point maybe I bought a kit to do one of these and didn't use them. I don't know. I don't even know. But here they are. So the height difference on these is a little bit, this is a little bit taller. I don't know if you guys can see that in the picture or in the screen. The height difference is a little bit taller, but this was sticking up off the board a little bit, so we're going to solder them in and then we'll go from there. Same thing with this one over here. He's sticking up quite a bit, so we're going to push this down a little bit flatter all the way against the board. Get a good solder in. And then we'll, before we go completely putting this back together, we'll give them a good test fit. I can go ahead and tell you, I don't have any of the parts to do any mods on this guy, as far as, you know, doing a Rips V4 or whatever. I don't have any of that stuff already. So I tell you what, this is probably going to be a fairly quick video, maybe an hour or so long, I hope. And you guys leave in the comments what you think I should do with this. You guys leave in the comments what you think I should do. Whether we should mod this, whether we should leave it like it is. You guys let me know what you think I should do with it. And we'll do that. So I'm going to go down. That one's stuck up a little bit. I'm going to go take this all the way down to the chip. Which is probably a little bit lower than I'd probably like to go. That's what we're going to do. one of the things I try to keep in mind is to keep this view where you guys can see what I'm doing. These smaller boards get a little bit tricky. Get just a little bit tricky. Okay. So this capacitor is a 10 UF 16 volt. I got tons of those. And it was kind of folded over anyway. I tell you what, let's go ahead and reflow this so we got a nice goody pull on it. And then we've got that one there. We've got two right here side by side. Let's go ahead and start with this one. One leg that held and one leg that didn't. All right, we're back. Let's go back to doing this thing. Let's go back to doing this thing now. Now that we've got it all cleaned up, now that we've got that all cleaned up, we can put it back together and hopefully the sun shines just right for us. If the sun shines just right for us, we can now remove these stupid via, clear it, and proceed with building or repairing, I guess I should say, our Game Boy. My brain went blank. It happens. There we go. I don't know why my desoldering gun takes so long to heat up, but man, it really does. And I hate to just leave it sitting on, mainly because it drains electricity, but also because if I leave it sitting on, then it goes into sleep mode, which renders it completely useless. So I don't have, on this board, I don't have a 33 UF 25 volt, and when I say that, I do have a 33 UF 25 volt, but it's it's a 33 UF 50, and it is a lot taller, and there's no way it's going to fit. I might have room. I'm going to have to check my case, because I know this little board here sits down right there, somewhere over here. There you go. Might have room. I might have room to take one of these and fold it, which is probably what's going to end up having to happen. Yeah, if I can get him to lay down, he'll fit in there nice and snug, because this guy, the audio jack, sits here. So if I can get him to lay down here, just like that, if I can get him in there, well, I say that, I don't really have a lot of room. I got a little bit. I might can pull that off, maybe. We're gonna have to see. Somebody somewhere sells the actual proper capacitor for this, but I don't have it. So we just kind of got to go with what we go with, right? Any second now. Be fully heated up. And we go ahead and clear this guy and stick a new one in. There we go. Let's see how this does. Well, it ain't perfect, but I might can make that work. Got it. Got it most of the way anyway. So we can fold him over. We can fold him over and actually solder him down now that we've got him in place. It's one of those difficult capacitors. Sometimes, I don't know why. I don't know, sometimes they just don't like to be, sometimes I guess they like to be difficult to deal with. I don't know. That was definitely one of them. We will hope and pray we don't run into that problem again on this board. So one question I get sometimes is, why do you go when you clip them off? Why do you go back and resolder the you've already soldered it? Why do it again? The answer is, and it's a pretty simple answer, actually, nothing complicated or special behind it at all, is that you clip them off, and when you clip them off, it ends up the solder joint's ugly, right? It's purely an aesthetic reason. Purely an aesthetic reason. Clear my eye out. Dump a couple of these guys out and save myself a lot of hassle. So we're going to put our negative lead on this side. This guy folded over. Folded down like that. And so that's the way we're going to put him back. We're just going to tack him in place. Move him over here where he needs to be. One of the main reasons that I'm going back and resoldering and clipping these so low is when your solder ball, especially in your handhelds, if they get too big, they'll make contact with other board parts, and you don't want that. And so I like to make sure all my stuff is nice and low, lower than factory, lower than original. And then I don't have that problem. One UF50. That's different. Let me open the box. Uh-oh. One UF50. And all that I have in a 1 UF50 is much larger, but it doesn't matter so long as it lays down below, so long as I can make sure that it lays down below and sits down flush to the board. It doesn't matter. And so that will lay down and sit low and flush to the board, so it won't matter. Yep, that'll sit down nice and low. And just to double check it, our cartridge will definitely slot in and clear him easily. That will be another 1 UF50. A little bit bigger than, a lot bigger than OEM on these guys, a lot bigger, but as long as they clear, it'll be fine. And they're going to clear, so it's going to be fine. And then we'll clip these legs off. And that's got all of the capacitors on this board changed out, which is perfect. So we can give him one more quick clean up. And then we'll deal with the capacitors on this board and this board, perhaps, because that's a 10UF 6.3. Yeah, I can handle that all day, no problem. All right, let me clean this right here up. Let's clean the bottom side first. So remember, with your electrolytic capacitors, and I say this in every single video, I beat you guys to death over it, and I know I do, but remember, you can go up in your voltage, right? If you're looking at a you know, 10 volt or, you know, 6.3 volt, you can go up. You know, if you're looking at a 10 volt, you can go up to 100 volt. Doesn't matter, won't hurt a thing. If you're looking at a 25 volt, you go to 50 volt. Won't hurt a single thing. Won't hurt it even a little bit to go up. What you can't do is go down on the voltage. And what you can't do is you can't go up or down with the capacitance. Now, the truth is you can, right? But you shouldn't. So this is a 10UF 6.3, and this is a 100UF 6.3. Is that 100 UF? Are they both 100 UFs? They're both 100 UF 6.3s. Oh boy. And I don't have either of those. All I have are 3 of these guys left, of which I need 2. Give me 1 second. Console 5 to the rescue. Console 5 has come to the rescue. I don't know what this kit was for, of capacitors, but it has at least one of something I need in it, I know. Let's see what this guy is. It's a 1UF50. Well, that would have been nice to have a minute ago. 2.2 UF50. That would have been nice to have a couple weeks ago. You can't tell what that is. 1UF50. That would have been nice to have a minute ago. But most importantly, a 1UF25 and a 1UF25. Now, that is significantly larger than what I have available here. But if you look at this capacitor and the way it sits in the board, first off, they're no bigger around. They're physically the same diameter. And so if I set this the back plate up here, right, and just drop him in, I don't really care how it sits right now. I'm not concerned with that. I have all the room in the world this way, especially on this bottom one, and a little bit on this top one. I've got room to make these 2 work, so we can get those in. No problem. Okay. So negative. It's interesting. They marked positive, but they didn't mark negative. Most of the times they mark the negative on the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull off our what I call the Game Gear move, right? So we're going to take our capacitor exactly as we want it, and we're going to fold our legs at a 90 degree coming straight out of him, right? Except for we folded them the wrong way because we're stupid. It's okay, we'll fold them back the other way. And we'll drop him in nice and tight to the board. nice and tight, and we'll tack him in place so we can get a good joint on it. There we go. Clip these legs off, nice and tight. Though this side, this doesn't matter as much as far as how nice and tight they get, because we've got a lot more room on this one. I'll tell you what, I didn't really like the way that last one pulled, so I'm going to flow this with some fresh solder before we pull it. Negative on this one, both positive legs face in, so negative faces to the outside. There we go. Again, we're going to do the same thing to what I call the Game Gear fold. This is how I attach my, I don't know if you guys can see that tight fold, that tight bend. That's how I do my Game Gears, right? Because a lot of people will run these really long leads everywhere, and I can't stand that. It literally sends me into absolute orbit. Like, if you don't have the time or the patience, then you don't need to do this at all. Just don't touch it. I can't, I just, it's one of those, it's worse than a pet peeve. It makes me physically ill to see it. There we go. That's a nice little joint. Now, before I go getting carried away and replacing this other capacitor, I want to make sure, because they're 100 UF 25 volts, both of them, but they're physically larger. And so I'm just going to set my case back down and drop my board back in, because I just want to look at it. I just want to make sure before I go any further, and make sure that we're going to fit. And look at that, it's going to fit perfectly. There's nothing else over here to interfere with it. It's a perfect fit. So the only thing that we have left to replace on this is this guy right here. And this is our 33 UF 25 volt. And somewhere around here is a 33 UF 25 volt. No, those are 100 UF 25 volts. I could have used them right there. That would have been great, huh? Here we go. You know, yeah, because it's a 25 volt, not a 16 volt. So we got to go with this guy. Okay, no problem. So this actually mounts, the legs mount this way, so it's going to be very hard to fold that way, but I might have room to do a nice tight tuck. Let me just look. Yeah, I can tuck him straight down. No problem. No problem. It'll come out great. Just watch and see. So this being the power board, I can tell you, this would be one of those cases where, and I'm not advocating this, by the way. I'm just saying this would be one of the cases where you could change your voltage down, because there's no transformer on this, right? So if a person were so inclined or needed to, should be able to get away with a 10 UF here or so. Negative goes that way. There's no marking. There's no marking on this board. Even though it says Alps, there's no marking on it. So you would have to trace the lead back, which you could do pretty easily to figure out which one was ground. So, what did I do with my... There it is. So what we're going to do is I know ground is going to face this side of this board, this side. So I'm just going to take my legs and do my little Game Gear fold again. Fold them down nice and flat. Drop him right in. This is again, our DC board. So we've got tons of room on it. And I could probably make this a little bit tighter. I could do some weird little double fold or something else like that on it. But I don't see a need for that here. I think this is going to clear just fine. Uh-oh. Big uh-oh. I have bridged everything. Okay. Got that all tuned up and fixed up. Toss him out the way. Let's do a test fit before we clean anything up. I want to make sure that this still drops right down in there the way that it's supposed to. And it does. I've got a little bit of room. I don't have much, but I got a little bit of room. I mean, it's touching. The capacitor is, but it's not. It doesn't have any pressure on it. I could probably, if I bent him that way a little bit, I'd probably gain some. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that'd be fine. Be just fine. And then this guy, well, I said that. Let me just... No, it's sticking up. It's sticking up. Even though it is, though, I think it'll probably be okay. I do. I think it'll be okay. I think that'll be fine. Yep, I think that'll probably be fine. So we can probably go ahead and put this guy, screw this guy back down real quick. So we've got to go back to our little bag of capacitors, wherever I put them down at, right here. One. I'll go ahead and get the other one out now. So one of these is going to be easy to get to, and one of them is going to be an absolute terror. Just an absolute terror, because it is so close to the screen. I really think that I can get away with that right there. I think I can. Not going to be exactly factory, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to see it. I think you'd be hard-pressed to see that it wasn't. You'd almost have to just know. You'd have to know that it's a different voltage. You'd have to know that this was supposed to be a 10 volts and I put a 25 volt in it. You really have to know your board. So the one that I was telling you about a second ago is this guy here. He is going to be a bear to get out, because he is so tight to everything. We burnt the plastic a little bit. Not too bad, though. Ain't too bad. These guys, though, these three are going to be, these five right here, are all underneath our screen. Ooh, so I'm going to have to, the problem is I can remove these screws and fold the screen out of the way and get to them to replace them. And that's really the only way to reasonably do it. And maybe what I end up having to do, I may not have any other option. I'd rather not do that. So, if I don't replace these, which these are all, I don't even know what these are. 1UF50s. That's a problem. Because I only have a couple of 1UF50s that are small, and all the rest of them, there's a small 1UF50. All the rest of them are large. It's a 2.2, that won't work. That's 2. That's 3. I've only got 3 of them, which is not near enough of what I need to pull this off. So, I think we're going to leave them in place for now. Reconnect this and see what we've got, and I'll have to just order some more of the small 1UF50s because I don't have them. I just flat out don't have them. So, let me take my rag and re-wipe down my display. All remaining gunk off of it, and we'll see if this helps any with our funny lines on our board, on our screen. We'll see if it does. I'm not going to resolder any of the connections on the board. Everything else looks okay. I am going to clean up. I'm not going to go nuts. I'm just going to clean around this just a little bit in here. There's a little like a little plastic isolator screen. I wouldn't quite call it a protector. Wouldn't quite call it a protector, but there's a little screen gizmo, a plastic piece. Okay. We'll go reinstalling all of these screws. That's a tri-wing. I know I say this a lot in all of my videos, but make sure when you're installing these screws, back up about a quarter of a turn before you screw it in. The reason you want to do that is to make sure that the threads align with the holes properly. And that just guarantees that you don't strip the screw out, is really all that does. There are a lot of, I mean, they put 1,000 screws in these. I'm always shocked every time I take one of these apart. I'm always just like, seriously? 20 screws wouldn't have done it? You needed 1,000? You needed this many screws? I don't have them all. I'm still missing 1, 2, 3, 3 of them. I've got to find. They're floating around here somewhere. I may not even put them in right now. They're up here somewhere. They've gone walking up here somewhere. That's a tri-wing. That's a tri-wing. That's a tri-wing. Okay, so they didn't go walking up there, so they're floating around somewhere else. You know what? Oh, they're up here. Found them. They're up here. Now what I'm going to do, before I go installing the glass screen cover, I say glass, the plastic OEM screen cover, before I go installing that, we're going to test fire this thing. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I'm going to stick some batteries in it and test fire it up. Put some batteries in it and give it a quick little test run, just to make sure. There we go. Okay. So we still don't have all of it at all. Okay. I mean, there's enough there. I'm trying to tilt this where you guys can see it. There's enough there to where I can play Tetris. It's funny, when I tap on this button, I get some of my screen back on this side. It doesn't seem to be connector related. But when I put just a little bit of pressure on either of the two ground tabs, here and here, I get part of my screen back. That is so interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of that. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to screw this back together for now. You guys are going to tell me down in the comments what we should do with this. All right, I'm going to screw this back together, and you guys are going to tell me what we do. Do we replace the original screen with another original screen? We can do that. Do we put a modded LCD screen in it? We can do that. Do we keep the original shell? Do we change the original shell? Do we... how far do we want to go with this? You guys tell me down in the comments below. I can tell you this. I'm not a big fan of messing with the screen on this guy. I've taken a couple of them apart before, and oof, they're not fun and they're not easy. I mean, at this point, I've got a mostly working Game Boy, so you know that's something. As far as what we do to get this LCD screen cover, I'm going to show you how I'm going to address that. Pretty easy little problem to solve. Pretty easy little problem to solve if you have the right stuff. And by right stuff, what I mean is the proper thinness of double-sided tape. If you have that, it's pretty simple to solve. Which I just happen to have, so I'm going to, and I'll tell you what else I'm going to do too, because I notice these are kind of a little bit, I don't know, not out enough, I guess is the way to say it, I guess. Not out enough, so we're going to pull them out a little bit more. I'm going to scratch. Sorry for the horrible sound there. So one terminal that had some corrosion on it, and so what I may end up doing is buying the replacement terminals for them. Let me go grab my super thin double-sided tape. Like everything in my world, I had to go fight the wife off for my double-sided tape. So okay, it's good enough. Just throw this part away. Just throw this part away. We don't need this part. Okay, so this double-sided tape is super thin, and we're not going to put a lot of it down. As a matter of fact, I'm really only going to put about 2 strips down. Because that's really, we may end up pulling this screen back up, and if we do, I say we may, we're most likely going to, and when we do, I don't want to have to fight with this screen. I'm just trying to hold it up enough. I'm going to replace this with a tempered glass screen, and like I said, when I do, I don't want to fight it to get it back off, and this double-sided tape, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. But it's on Amazon. It's super cheap. And it is really strong. Not impossible to remove strong, but it'll fight you for it. So most of the thickness of this double-sided tape is the top and bottom layer. It is very thin, which makes it great for attaching screens and things like that. Now I am going to go ahead now and wipe down the inside of this screen. And try to get all of the smudges and dust and dirt and everything else off the inside of it. I'm not worried about the outside of it right now. Not even a little bit. Not worried about it. So tell you what, we're not done with this build. We're going to call this Part 1, is what we're going to call it. I'm going to call this Part 1. And we're going to decide what we want to do. Is our select button not working? So we'll decide what we're going to do with this, what mod we're going to do, because I'm pretty much at this point dedicated to we're gonna do some kind of a mod. We're going to do some kind of something here. Almost have to at this point. Oh, great. I'm screwed. Could have given me anything but that piece, and I would have been fine. But at any rate, so what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what we're going to do with this guy. In the meantime, I'm probably just going to let my wife play with it for a little while I spend an obscene amount of money in parts and screens and things like that. You guys leave a message down in the comments, Part 1, and we'll be back with Part 2 of this and decide what we want to do. Overall, I paid $30 for this, so I feel like I got a good deal on it. I probably paid $40 with shipping. I don't remember, but I do feel like I got a good deal on it. This thing's in a great condition. It really is. Really good condition. Overall, the board was beautiful. I don't know that we gained or lost anything with the capacitor replacement on it. I don't think we gained anything at all. I don't think it helped, which is fine. That's fine. But it certainly didn't hurt us any, right? Certainly didn't hurt us any. So at least we got to do that, and now at least we know we've got a fully functional Game Boy, and we'll decide what we're going to do with that screen. So that's going to wrap it up for Part 1. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.